Hello and welcome to Second Amendment Sis. I am Steffanie Rivers and I'm here with my co-host Phyllis Petit. How's it going, Phyllis?
It's going. It's going. How are you this week?
All is well, thanks. You've been having a productive week?
Man, it's been super busy. Super busy.
Super busy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems to be flying. I remember being like 16 and wondering, will I ever get to be 18? Will I ever get out of my mama's house?
The dumbest thing I ever said is I can't wait till I get grown. Has to be the dumbest thing I have ever said.
And now look at us, decades later,
Listen.
thinking, where did the time go?
I was just talking to my daughter about that, talking about like to be a teenager again. I'm like, I don't want to go back quite that far.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I could go back.
Yeah. If I knew then what I know now, could still be a little younger. Most definitely, I would go back. Because there, are things that we would change. But today we are introducing a segment of Second Amendment Sis, and it's called "What Would You Do?" We're introducing this featuring real life events that have happened and been caught on video. And we had planned to start out with a broad daylight, strong armed robbery. But we will get to that later. But today there was the what do they call it? Breaking news that
the cop we knew was coming
in the Minneapolis shooting death of Amir Locke, the cop that shot him during the no-knock search warrant, was vindicated, or it's now official that he will not be charged with a crime of any sort. So a lot of people are up in arms about that. So that was just announced a few hours ago. So what is your take on that, Phyllis? You said that you suspected, you knew that was going to happen.
Well, yes, of course. It's what happens, and they will definitely pay his family a hefty civil suit amount. But they do that to avoid that police officer getting charged and possibly going to the prison for the rest of his life. But in light of that, it's something that I don't see it ending. Like, I don't see it slowing down. And states or police officers that take part in these no-knock warrants, I think they should be outlawed. There's another way for you to get who you are looking for without this late night kicking in a door like you're a criminal. And even if it's why not knock, okay? But they just assume, well, this person's violent, so we need to, surprise them, give them the element of surprise. But then how very risky that is, but they don't care. So there are precautions that we will have to take in our community. It's frustrating. You try not to get upset about it, but you can't help it because it's never ending. It's always happening. We have no hope anymore. Well, we ain't had hope in 400 years, but I don't even watch it anymore. I just wait to see what's gonna happen. Just so you can go, told you so.
Yeah,
They
because
don't.
it does seem like, every other week or so, something is happening that you feel like, why does this keep happening? And why don't they learn from the previous death or shooting? And so I was even on the computer at the time that they announced it, and it was a joint news conference, if you will,
Mhm.
between the Hennepin County District Attorney. That's where Minneapolis is, in Hennepin County,
Mhm.
Minnesota, and the Attorney General. They had of Minnesota. He and the DA of the county had a joint news conference to explain why they felt like they were not going to press charges. And essentially, I'll just read you what I saw. It says that these circumstances are such that an objectively reasonable officer in Mark Hanneman is the cop that shot Amir Locke.
Mhm.
These reasonable circumstances are such that an objectively reasonable officer in Hanneman's position would have perceived an immediate threat of death or great bodily harm that was reasonably likely to occur, and an objectively reasonable officer would not delay in using deadly force. Now, that came from Attorney General Keith Ellison, who was a black man, and Hennepin County Attorney General Michael Freeman. Now, I will say this, that there were three cops that went in, but there was only one cop that used deadly force, and that was Henneman. The other
Mhm.
two cops did not shoot. So
Right.
while
So if there was a real threat, why didn't they shoot?
why exactly? That's my whole point. If that was a real threat, why didn't everybody start shooting? Not that we want 3-on-1, but it just seems like if you're gonna keep using the term reasonable, he reasonably thought this, he reasonably thought that. It seems like everybody would have reasonably thought the same thing.
You
But they
would have thought you would have thought. So and also, so moving forward, then every time there's a no knock warrant being executed, then we are to assume that someone will die because the circumstances set up for the element of surprise. The person whose home you're going to, they don't know you're coming. You don't know if they're armed or not. You're assuming whoever's in there is armed because you're going in, kicking the door in, guns out, yelling, police, police, after you're inside, not when you first hit the door. Either way, someone is likely to lose their life. And they would rather it be whomever is in that home, regardless of who it is.
and that leads me to the next thing, because according to the news conference, Ellis made it a point, the attorney general of the state, black man, and I keep saying that because we're talking about a black family and a black man losing his life. He said, he made it a point to say Locke was not the subject of the warrant. Locke was, had no criminal history. He
Mhm.
seemed to be a good person. He was all this, that, and the third, but still, this reasonably good person who was legally in possession of a weapon is dead, and nobody is held accountable.
Exactly.
And so it's like, they, according to the information, the information that they used to determine that the cop should not be held criminally liable was his actions in the moment. But Phyllis, here's what I want to know. What research did y'all do? Because if the person that you were going there to get was not in the apartment, like, what are you determining that says, okay, let's go in now? Because the dude wasn't even there. So
They do no research. They just go off of what the last information they had, which could have changed months ago. So in that aspect, so in our communities, when we get ready to relocate to a new address, you're gonna have to do some research and background, digging to make sure, because okay, let's say all crimes are, public public record. You can Google an address and find out different things about that address, or if crimes have been committed at that address, whatever you want to. So now we have to add that into, what we do for our own safety, making sure that we're not moving into a new address that was previously occupied by criminals or possible criminals. You know, I mean, what else do we have to do? And what if someone and not only that, they come to the wrong address before.
And that's what I was about to
So there's
say.
no
It's not
safety
like
net.
you can't really avoid it. Of course, you can try to avoid it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess it's like when you do try to move to a new residence. You what? You go, do the walkthrough. You look at the neighborhood. They tell you to go at night, see what's going on in the neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
Do the research on what's been going on at this address. You hope the agent tells you, what happened.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but at some point, it's like, what is a legal, law-abiding citizen to do in trying to ensure? Because you got kids, you got family members who come
Mm-hmm.
and go, you come and go. It's like, at what point is the person who shoots the wrong person and kills
Mm-hmm.
the wrong person, when are they going to be held liable? you
Right.
know
There needs to be some process to sure up that the person they're looking for reasonably is at this address.
yeah, and
Reasonably.
that
Like
comes down
like
to.
back in the day, the police would pretty much stake out a home to make sure the person they're looking for just went in or just came out. Like they don't do that anymore. They just shoot the paperwork out, and those addresses are old. And if you're looking for someone that's jump bail or bond, they're not at that address. Number one
Right,
reason why you're looking for them,
that's
because
right,
they're
that's the
not
reason
doing
why you're looking for them, because they jail
right.
bail or bond. Come on now.
If they jump bail or bond, there's no telling where they are at this point, right? So like I just think there should be some processes for them, you know, something that holds them liable from the very beginning of that order being executed. You know, to just say, oh, they put in the wrong address. That's no consolation for someone's family who lost their family member, or, you know, anything else. Like there's no accountability whatsoever for the actions of these police officers that perform no knock warrants and someone gets killed. None. And that has to end. And what we got to do with that, our local, state officials, we have to beat them up over the head with it, because it's got to stop. It's got to.
So then that's what we want to pose to our viewers. What would you do if this happened to you? You were at home minding your own business, whether it's the middle of the night or the middle of the day. And, because when I go to training, this probably happens with you too, Phyllis, when you are training with your shooting coach. One of the things is we go through scenarios.
Mm-hmm.
What if this happened? And so
Mm-hmm.
one of the things, home invasions of criminals
Mm-hmm.
coming into your home with different people from different from the window or the door or whatever, that is a thing that has happened. And
Mm-hmm.
so how would you handle that? So you don't stop to look and ask, well, who is coming through the door? Because all you know
Mm-hmm.
is that I live by myself and ain't no more folk supposed to be coming up in here right now.
Exactly. They gonna get the skibbity paps. They come through my door.
So if you're out there and you want, you can let us know in the chat, or you can call in. I'll put the link in the chat. If this happened to you, or to, what are you teaching your family members? What would you do if in the middle of the night, in the middle of the day, you're sitting down, you don't, you're a law abiding citizen, you don't expect nobody to come bursting through your door, and, nobody has time to, look and make sure. By that time, hell, somebody done been shot. And
Well,
so,
the lady in Chicago who a couple years ago they went in her home and
yeah,
she was standing there with no clothes
no
on. They
clothes
made
on,
her stand there forever like that, they were at the wrong house.
address. Exactly. Exactly. In fact, I did a video on that thing as well, and it turned out that the person who was blocking, because it took years for her case to go through. It took
Mhm.
years for her to get a copy of the video and the evidence so that she could sue the city. And it
Mhm.
turns out that the assistant DA or some high level person in the city government was the one who was blocking the video, in essence helping the cops to get
Mhm.
away with victimizing this person and humiliating her, because like you said, she had come home from work, had
A
taken off her
nurse.
clothes, and
Mhm.
was like about to shower, whatever she was about to do,
Yeah,
minding
she
her
was a
own business.
nurse.
And
Mhm.
a nurse, and they burst through the door, 5, 6 people, men, and then didn't allow her to put on any clothes. And their cop cams are going, they're videotaping her naked. It was
Mhm.
just a catastrophe. And I think at this point, that's 2 or 3 years later, after the city council got a chance to look at the video and everybody got a chance who was supposed to look at the video, they realized that they agreed without her even having a sue, I think, or maybe not, but the city council agreed to give her a certain amount of millions of dollars
Mhm.
for her pain and suffering. And so, it's just like there shouldn't have to be you shouldn't have to be dang near killed, or somebody in your family killed off of somebody else's mistake, and it take 2 or 3 years when clearly they were in the wrong,
Mhm.
and it to begin with. So that's what we're dealing with. um yeah, so if you're out there and you want to call in, I put the link in the chat. In the meantime, have you heard what Amir Locke's family plans to do? You said that you think that the city will pay,
Oh
and
yes.
it's like,
Minneapolis has been issuing out money like little Debbie cakes because they keep messing up.
mm,
I mean, they keep getting it wrong, and they keep paying out. They keep paying out. They keep getting it wrong, and either way, the family will have to be compensated, no matter what. The family would have to be, even if the cop were to be charged, they would still have to compensate the family because, of course, they're going to sue. But that's not enough. My family member is gone, and you haven't made any effective laws to change this process to stop this from happening to people in the future. Like, it just keeps going, and it's so matter of fact. It's so matter of factly. The whole thing is just so very matter of factly. Today, cops issuing a no-knock warrant in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, shoot um, an innocent man sleeping on his couch, sleeping on his cousin's sofa, you know, or an innocent woman that just got home from work, was about to take a shower to relax for the evening, and here they come. And there's no accountability. There's no accountability for whomever issued the warrant, whomever didn't do the research to make sure that whomever the warrant is for is actually at that address. There
yeah,
should be some footwork done.
I agree. In fact, they were looking at how the similarities in the Breonna Taylor case in Louisville, Kentucky, and this case, because, and then in that case they were looking at the judge who issued the warrant, because again in that case the person who was on the warrant was not at the address,
Mm-mm.
um, and then the cops lied about the connection between Breonna Taylor and the person on the warrant, saying
Mhm.
that that person had been getting mail at the house, and they told the judge that the postmaster general, the post office, had confirmed mail was coming to Breonna that could be drugs, and the post office later came out after that and said, "We don't know what you're talking about." So the
Right.
cops lied to get the no knock search warrant,
Mhm.
and so they were looking at the cops. Of course, they were looking at the judge that signed the warrant. And after all that, then the cop that they charged with wanton endangerment, who shot through the back door, glass door, and it went into the apartment of the neighbor, they ended up finding him not guilty. And I'm like, what? WTF, people? What is going on? So it's like, what is a person to do? But I've already said, I don't have any reason for anybody to be bursting through my door. So if you burst through my door, my mama ain't the only one gonna be getting a black dress. Okay, somebody else mama gonna be getting a black
You're gonna
dress.
have to
Okay,
dust it off because I am not going by myself.
exactly, exactly. So if you I wanted to include this, there are a lot of people, oh, it's so small, but justice for Amir, they're just looking to try to come up with how we can not let this continue to happen. And so if you have any ideas on what's going on, are no knock search warrants allowed in your jurisdiction? Is your family likely or probably in a position where this could happen to you? And you know what? Phyllis, I called my the person who was running for the city council in my uh, uh, district in Dallas, and I tried to get on the agenda of the city council, and it's like they make it so hard for
Mm-hmm.
you to speak out, officially get on the agenda. I was told, okay, within 30 days you have to call and sign up, and then you need to call back again, and you have to do this, that, and the third. And
Mm-hmm.
this person is the person who's in charge of on the city council in Dallas. Apparently, they have certain council members who cover, let's say, police and their policies,
Mm-hmm.
and that person is in charge of bringing all the information to the city council at large and saying this is the law that they've agreed. And so then the council votes on that. Now I get it, everybody can't do everything, but then
Mm-hmm.
I was told to talk to this person because they're in charge of that. And then you try to get with that person and they got some excuse why they're not the person that you're supposed to talk to. It's like
Mm-hmm.
playing phone tag, sending you around. When you call to try to get help, they put you on hold, send you to somebody else. Then you got to start all over, put you on hold.
Mm-hmm.
And then
That's to
before you know
that's
it,
to make it inconvenient for you, and hopefully you'll just give up. You
yeah.
know, it's not designed to help you at all. It's designed to cause inconvenience, frustration, and maybe you just be like, okay, never mind, I'm not gonna do this. But you have to be bound and determined, and everyone needs surveillance cameras in their home that are recording. They don't necessarily have to be monitored by a service because that costs additional money. And even if it's monitored, the police aren't coming out unless the burglar or the offender is still there. So being armed and carrying, being skilled at it, knowing what to do in the event you find yourself broad daylight being burgled, either by another person in your community or your community police officers, knowing what to do and how to handle that situation.
So
Uh,
speaking of recordings, we have a segment of what happened to a woman who was walking from her vehicle to her house in Houston, Texas,
from
and
the driveway to the front door
her
sidewalk. Mm-hmm.
right. And we want to show you what happened to her, and it was caught on the Ring camera. And so we want to get your opinion, and then we could talk about what would you do, Phyllis, in that instance. How would you have handled that? Because the last thing you want to do is, me anyway, is go from 0 to 100, and it was
Mm-hmm.
no need for that. But
Exactly.
in this instance, there was need for it. But you just, it's kind of like you don't want to overthink it. but then you don't want to underthink it either. You want to have the right reaction. As a matter of fact, we are on a joint conference call, and last night they were talking about the what do they call it? Shoot or don't shoot.
Yes.
The real life,
Yes.
so
Yes.
so explain what was so should we show the video and then talk
Yes.
about that,
Let's show the
or
video, and then let's see what would you do.
okay, so hold on, let me try to pull it up and let me see, are we seeing it? Hold on, I'm gonna drop that down. Oops, see, I don't want to. Okay, so you're seeing the screen, and then I'm going to start the video and it says watch again.
Yeah, you don't pay, though. Pay, I had the money. Tanisha said you got the money. I swear, it's in there. It's in there. It's in there. It's in there.
Okay, so it's gonna play it again.
So she stops and looks. She threw it at him. She said, yeah. That was the best thing to do, is just let him have it.
So
say you got the money.
She knew him. He knew her.
It's in there. It's in there.
She called him by his name. She said, Deshaun, don't do this.
okay, so I'm gonna stop it and then we're gonna go and talk about it a little bit, and we can always go back and look at it again. But like you said, okay, should I keep that up?
No, you don't have to either way, because this is cut and dry. First of all, she did the right thing. She gave him everything. Just give it to him. Even if she was carrying in this case, he already has the drop on her because he's already drawn. And if you go to draw at that moment, he's going to shoot you. The best thing she did was just give it to him. And then when he went down to pick it up, if I were carrying, he would have caught it all. He would have caught all the smoke before he had a chance to turn around and run. Because you can't shoot him in the back. Because if you shoot him in the back, then you're in the wrong. But also, they knew each other. She said his name.
So I didn't. So we'll play it again because all I heard her say or him say was, Felicia said you got the money.
Right. That let you know he knew her. Tanisha. The name was Tanisha. She said, Deshaun, don't do this.
And was that what she said? Sean, don't do this. Okay, because I just heard, I saw her drop everything. Like, okay, homeboy, go on and take it. And then he said, Felicia said you got the money. Tanisha said you got the money.
Tanisha said you had the money.
So first of all, Tanisha got an ass whipping coming when I catch up with her.
You do. Oh.
Okay.
Ooh. And Deshaun too. When I catch him, she called him by his name. And the fool could hardly run because he got his pants down under his ass. So he could barely even run. But the minute that he bent down to pick that stuff up, he would have caught it. They'd have found him right there on his back, on his ass, with my purse in his hand.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to laugh.
It's just, can you imagine the fear, how frightened she was? You could
the audacity of like broad daylight, you running out with a gun in your hand, or somebody that you know, whether or not you know them or not, somebody's mama, somebody's grandmama. It's like the brazenness of people. And so it seems to me that either mama was coming from the bank or coming from getting a check.
From work. She had on her little scrub. She probably a CNA. She done came from work, done cashed her check. She just moseying on to the door. And here he comes. She stopped. She saw him. But once she saw that gun, she had, here, you can have it. Here, take it. You can have it. It's in there. It's in there. And he trying to rifle through her pockets. So that let you know. Did you notice he was trying to rifle through her pockets?
Right.
Yeah, Yeah, he knew exactly what he was looking for, what he was coming for, and he expected her to have it. He took her whole purse.
Mm, right, right. So, um,
And
so
just
in
think her husband or whoever is right there in the house, because then she starts beating on the burglar bars. Harry, Harry.
yeah. So,
Mhm.
and I'm not blaming Harry, the husband, but I'm like, be looking out for me or something. You know what
Well, that's what we do now. We have become accustomed to calling and saying, "I'm on my way home."
I'm saying? Right.
You know,
I'm on the
and
street. I'm on the street. Be looking for me or something.
yeah,
Because
and when I open my garage, I will call inside and say, I'm outside, and I don't even get out of. I pull into the garage. I let it down, and when it's about halfway, then I turn off my car, because if somebody runs up behind me, I'm taking them and the garage door out.
now, there was last week we had Meeks, we had a caller that called in, and I posed this question on the uh uh Caliber community page. What would you do? And he said he was going to call in, maybe got caught up with something, but he said he has a what's that called? He has a something that he does when he gets home is he backs in. He doesn't pull in, he backs in, and he does something else. He said, I wonder if I can find it. But he has a routine that
Right.
will keep him being less likely to be caught off guard. And of course, one of the
Mhm.
things is he backs in, and so if anybody is coming towards him, they are facing him and he already sees them,
Mhm.
and he does something else. And you know what? I have a habit of backing in, but not necessarily at home. But in case, I just feel like if I'm wherever I am, if I got to make a quick exit, I don't want to have to back up and pull out and all of that. I'm just want to get in the car and push the
Oh, I'm
gas.
backing over everything, baby. Number one reason why I drive a large truck, I'm backing over everything and everybody. If you trying to get to me and you behind me on the side of me, baby, I'm running you over. I'm side swiping. Yeah, all of that. All of that. And
Okay,
we
so
have to be more aware of our situational awareness. I went to meet a friend the other day, and they didn't even see me sitting in the parking lot waiting for them. And so I called. I said, "I know you're not finna leave. I'm sitting right here." And they was like, "I didn't even see you." I was like, "You know what? I'm gonna call it in on you, because I'm like, I can't believe you didn't see me sitting here."
yeah,
But they was tired, they was hot, they wasn't thinking about it. We have to always at all times, be situationally aware and not assume that we're in a good neighborhood, or nothing's going to happen over here, not me, because it could be something going on with somebody else. They could be trying to get away from a crime they just committed and need your car to get away
correct. That's
you
true.
know
Yeah, that's why I always, lock my door. As soon as I get in the car, I lock the doors,
Mhm.
and I try to pull off as soon as possible. But it's just sometimes, I have things in the car, that I need to put in my bag so that when I
Mhm.
get to a strange place, I can get out of the car and won't be sitting in a strange place. Or
Right.
when I come home, you might have stopped at the grocery store. So you got this bag, that bag, the other bag, and you trying to get everything together because I didn't want to sit in the grocery store parking lot trying to get stuff
Mhm.
together. So I have to
Right.
choose. You got to choose your spots where you gonna take a little time to get stuff together. And so
Mhm.
yeah, you just never know. You want to be
And
you
that's
want to
the
be
same for people who
with it.
go to the grocery store with small children. You go to the store with your small children and you got your purse. You got a car seat or a baby seat, all of that. You make yourself a very soft target for anybody that's out there wanting to do you some harm. When my
So
daughter was younger, I never um, would take her to the grocery store with me. I would leave her at home with her dad, and I would go do what I got to do. And I've gotten to the point now that I don't even take a purse with me at all. and it's just me. I either, sadly, you either have to do, I do the pickup, I order them online and I pull up to the store and they load it into the car.
Oh yeah.
Yes, or I let them deliver it straight here to my home because I just don't trust it anymore. It's just
Hmm.
gotten too bad. I have to
Yeah.
have need of something like immediate in order for me to go in the store and say I'm going to pick it up. And usually it's just one or two items. I go in, I come right on out. And then I still don't take my daughter with me, especially with, how they have, the mass shootings when that started. That
Hmm.
really freaked me out. And just the idea of it, because sometimes I would be in the store with her and she'll say, "Can I go over here and look at this while you over here?" You can't do that anymore,
Right. And
you know.
it limits the freedom of your kids and yourself. And
Hmm.
just kids just can't be kids no more and run around and,
Hmm.
see stuff and touch on stuff. You just never know who's going to be right there around the corner
Hmm.
trying to snatch them and stuff. But speaking of grocery stores, my shooting coach and I have talked about the on the groceries, on not just grocery stores, but in certain public places, on as you enter, it has that law on the front window, let's say,
Hmm.
saying if you are unlicensed, you are not allowed to have to carry a weapon. And some of the
Hmm.
laws says if you even if you are licensed, you can't carry in here. And so,
Hmm.
what are the consequences of going in with a weapon if you are licensed or you're not licensed, and just knowing, what you can do and can't do. And as a matter of fact, I went into a grocery store just today because I eat salad regularly. So every 2 days or so, I have to go get a new salad. I get enough for 2 or 3 days, and I got to go back and get another one. That's just me.
Right.
So I had my concealed weapon, and so it was concealed. But then when I got to the car, I noticed that my clip, or what was it, my holster, the holster clip that clips onto my pants
Hmm.
was visible. And I thought, I wonder did anybody see that? And if so, nobody said anything. And so
Right.
I'm thinking, okay, maybe they saw it and was like, ain't nothing wrong with her having it. She, just like everybody else, she can have
Depends
it.
on what store you were in.
So I won't tell you what store, just in case.
Okay. Well, I know I went into a Target once and forgot. And when I walked through the door, I beeped, right? And I thought, oh man. And I'm like, I don't want to have to go back out. But nobody ever said anything to me. No one came to me. No one, because there's usually some young person working at the door. They don't care, no situational awareness. Now, had
Hmm.
I been someone coming in there as a threat, nobody would have detected me. I went ahead and did my shopping, came back to the front because I was returning something. So I had to return something, go get the other item, come back, check out, and then when I left out, I beat. But I'm like, I didn't beat, but I figured the beep was because of what I was bringing back.
Uh-huh. Okay, right. Because I was
Right.
about to say, because I go through those detectors all the time carrying concealed, and they don't beep. So I don't think it has anything to do with the weapon. It's the
Right. That's
merchandise
what I was
thing.
thinking. At first, I was like, why? And I thought about it because I didn't beep when I left, and I thought to myself, I'm just gonna try this.
Hmm.
And I just kept walking. I didn't beep. I was like, it had to be what I was bringing back. Is because they have that little sensor on sometimes on tags and whatnot.
Right.
And so I thought to myself, I wonder how many people come and go in here that are concealed. That it's never, because of course, if they don't see it, they don't know. And
Correct.
generally, if you're somewhere and they see it, they just, politely ask you to leave. And if they ask you to leave, you have to leave. But if they ask me to leave because I'm carrying and they see it, I'm not gonna go put it in a car and then go back in the store. Uh-uh. I'm leaving that store.
Yeah, that's what my coach and I just said. He said if they don't want you to have it, and all they really do is ask you to leave, and then
Yes.
you just leave, and that's the end of it. So yeah. So I wanted us to watch this video one more time because and I even posted this. I was like, if nothing, if it doesn't make you want to be more prepared to prevent this or to defend yourself, it makes you want to get this ring doorbell, because that ring doorbell be picking up some stuff,
Do
don't it?
you hear me? Clearly.
Clearly. And then they went back and zoomed into his face. And
Yeah, Deshaun in jail by now or hiding out. And Tanisha, see, I'd have been at her doorstep. You sent so and so to my grandma, my grandtee house. Oh, sis, run them hands. Run them hands.
okay, hold on, we're gonna
You
watch
know
this
she
one
be
more
right in the
time.
house and called everybody.
Correct. Hold on. Let me go to the that's
I
not
bet you
what I
that's
mean.
Tanisha driving. That looked like a Browse car.
Would you stop?
It does.
You said it looked like a bronze car. It
It
was
look at it.
it was another remark, comment that said these punk mofos driving a Hyundai. Like,
Little bitty car.
yo,
He couldn't even run because his pants down
this
around his ass, up under his
girl.
ass. He should have fell face first.
Okay, where my chat? Okay, let me go up top and then we're gonna run it again.
Yeah, you don't pay though. Pay. I don't have no money. Tanisha said you got the money. I swear, it's in there. It's in there. It's in there. It's in there. How many?
I'm just gonna play it one more time, the slow motion.
She threw everything. He didn't know whether to slid damn that fell.
Tanisha said you got the money. I swear, it's in there.
Right there, he would have got it.
Do you hear me? I think I would have shot him in the ass just for good measure.
So, do you think, Phyllis, that he would have been able to shoot straight as he was running? Because I was thinking, had I pulled on him, drew on him right as he was running towards me,
that's not a chance you should take.
He
got to jump on you already because you got to pull, cock, and fire. He's already out there. And once he sees you draw, he's going to fire. Whether he miss or not, that's a chance you want to take. No. Just give him what he asking for. And just throw it on the ground. He got to bend down to get it. And when he bend down to get it, that's when you do what you do. You and not, don't let him even know that you're carrying until you absolutely, and if there's no opportunity for you to even shoot him, to fire on him, let him have it. It's not worth your life, and he looks completely idiotic. Yeah, but in the moment, your adrenaline's going, you just see a gun coming at you, right?
Right.
So you have to think logically. There's no way I can outdraw him because he's already drawn.
And I'm not even sure I would have realized, because you're like, what's going on? Where they running to? You like, are they by the time you start really processing it, they're up on you, basically.
Exactly. But she stopped, she saw him. And as soon as she saw that gun, she stuck everything out there and said, him, you can have it. She's just trying to keep him away from her, as he's trying to go through her pockets, her uniform pockets and her sweater pocket. Just, so she did the right thing. Just give it to him. And she called him by his name. And then he called the other person's name, the accomplice, by her name. And that camera caught that car license plate too. I promise you, those cluckers, they should be in jail and getting whooped by somebody. Now you do that to somebody's grandmother or mother, you
Right.
set up that lady. These fools set up this elderly woman to get robbed for whatever money it was they knew she had.
And that's why, and we're closing up. So if anyone wants to chat now, you're on the clock. But that's why when I look at these shows like the I forgot what channel that is, I always watch with all the true crime stuff.
Oh
Girl, I'm
yeah.
like, these people, this is why I ain't in nobody relationship. That's why nobody, I don't have visitors unless you coming to fix the air conditioning or something. I don't, because people are just devious. You don't know who watching you, who trying to find out,
You
your
can't tell people,
schedule.
you can't share your good fortune with people either, because you don't never know what situation they're in. Hardships make people do things they would not necessarily do under normal circumstances. The
Correct.
economy is really rough. People out of jobs, barely making enough, saying that desperate times, desperate measures. But if you choose to rob someone, burglarize, then that's a chance you taking on losing your life for a little bit of something, you know, because you may know I got that check, but you don't know if I got this gun, because that's something you ain't gonna necessarily know. You know, they thinking, well, Margaret ain't got nothing. We can go and get her. She ain't paying attention. But Margaret probably got some sons or some grandsons, nephews that's gonna have a come to Jesus with Deshaun and Tanisha. I know I would.
Exactly. And we can end on this. Now, everybody is going back and forth with the Will Smith and Chris Rock slap over
Oh,
Jada's head. And so I don't know if you saw the video of uh Tony Rock, his brother,
yes. Boy, sit down somewhere.
saying, and that just goes to show you, even if one person of the person involved has, let it go, or they've moved on, or they're willing to move on, you don't know how that family feel. You know what I'm saying? You don't
Exactly.
know what they have decided needs to be done to, let it move
Uh-huh.
on. And
Revenge, and we're gonna give you back how you hit my brother, all of that. Come on, first of all, we too old for that. And secondly, you mess around, get your own teeth knocked out, threatening somebody else. They are grown men, and my whole take on it is comedy. And you know me, I love to laugh. I'm always saying something stupid. I love to laugh, but if being in a professional um atmosphere, everything is not funny, and they expect everybody to laugh. And generally, everybody does laugh except the person that you're offending. You know, I don't agree with him slapping him publicly. He should have been slapped, but not publicly, because he has been doing this for a long time. He takes things incredibly far as a comedian, and I never necessarily watch any of his stuff until way after, because he made, and then that's just comedians. They make fun of people, you in general. But when you start, that's a chance you take when you calling me out individually. There was another clip, video out there of another guy doing a comedy show, and he was ragging on one of the guys in the audience. Dude
Mhm.
clicked out. He clicked out. He came up on stage, threw a chair out, took his shirt out. I mean, he clicked all the way out. Everybody can't take a joke. Everybody ain't with it. You know,
Correct. Correct.
everybody is not with it. And I say, the offense of being slapped, of a man being slapped by another man, it's quite egregious, you know. And you testing his manhood, you know what I'm saying?
Right, because I'm thinking, what if, because that just goes back to your self-defense mechanism kicking in. If
Mm-hmm.
you slap me, I might haul off and punch the hell out you
Oh, this
without thinking about it. You know what I'm saying?
right.
Now
But he
you got
putting it
two
out. When
grown
he
people
saw me
fighting on
walking
stage.
up, I said to myself, Chris's situational awareness was off point that night because he thought it was still shits and giggles.
Uh-huh.
And when Will got up on him, and the way he smacked him, it really looked like a skit because it was just too perfect. And I was like, did he just hit him? I literally thought that it was some kind of skit or joke, right? Because I didn't see it live. Somebody sent it to me. And
Mm-hmm.
earlier that day, I had been somewhere else. And I came in, I'm relaxing, and so I started getting all these notifications, right? Of people sending it. And I was like, was that for real? And then you start doing your research. I'm like, he really did slap him. I guess
Girl,
it was, and the backlash that he and his wife are getting because they live their life so publicly, you know.
right. And that's the other thing. It's like what you're offended, and after all that y'all have let us in on, and you're offended at that. Come on now.
Yeah, you gotta,
But
that's your situational awareness,
yeah.
So be, know what's going on around you. Read the room. Jokes are jokes, and you just have to think about, back when I was growing up, we used to call it scoring on each other, right? But mamas and was generally out of it. We didn't play the
Right.
dozens with your mamas and your grandparents and stuff. Let's just talk about each other, maybe our sisters and brothers. But there is, because see, once you start talking about your ma, your pa, and everybody else, see, that's when people get mad and they ready to fight.
Right.
Or
True,
if
true,
you tap
true.
on, like if I had one leg shorter than the other, just slightly, and somebody knew that, and they capitalized on that, I might want to fight because y'all laughing too hard, y'all taking it too far. One joke, two jokes tops. That's it. Because everybody in the neighborhood know I got one leg longer than the other, right? So
Are
we
you
talk about.
serious,
No,
Phyllis?
I'm just saying as an example. No, both my legs are the same length. I'm just saying how people take
Right.
your weakness and they just ride on it until they make you mad. And some
Correct.
people do it to make you mad, to get a rise out of you.
True.
I, my dad had a friend that had back then they all had nicknames, and his friend's nickname, it was vulgar. And he did look just like the name they gave him, you know.
Okay.
And I would say all the time, why do they call him that? You know, And my dad was like, we always call him that. That's his nickname. Woo, woo, woo. So, of course, one of them nights they drinking too much and he got mad and he wanted to whoop everybody in the parking lot. And my mother told him, she said, I've been telling y'all he was going to lose it one day. And that was the day. I
Mm.
mean, he fought till he was tired. They was, more so wrestling. But, you just stop and think a minute. You know what I'm saying? And this was a classy event, and you telling trashy jokes. That's another thing. You know, like you could have told jokes about someone that wasn't even there, but then you pick someone who you've had a previous issue with, who has asked you as a man, stay up off me and mine, and you do it again.
True.
You
True.
do it again. Come on, man. I'm not saying you deserve to be slapped publicly, but you deserve to be talked to. I'm gonna meet you at the bike rack at 3 o'clock, like Medea said, bike rack. Yeah.
Correct. Correct. So there's a lot to unpack. If we could get into mental health, just so many underlying
Mhm.
issues that come up in the moment when we're handling things a certain way, or when we're confronted with things. And
Yeah.
so
So what
that's
would you
important.
do?
Right.
Would you have slapped him?
What would I? No, no, I wouldn't have slapped him, because me having a bald head, shaving my head, I did a video on that as well, because now, girl, I'm getting people coming up to me saying, "Oh, I'm so sorry that Will this, that, and the third." I'm like, I don't know them people. I don't know Jada. I don't have,
Mhm.
alopecia. So and so the whole purpose of my video was that people shave their heads. People do things or might do the same thing for, a different
Different
reason.
reason.
And
Mhm.
so don't assume, because, that's another stereotype or another thing that now Black women got to deal with now. Oh, we so sorry for y'all because y'all got alopecia, y'all. I'm like, don't feel sorry for me, because
Mhm.
if I have feel that strongly about it, I can put on a scarf like I got on a scarf tonight. I can
Mhm.
do different things like I do. So just have more conversations, if anything, so we
And
can
instead of assumptions, exactly.
instead of assumptions. Exactly. So we have Sweetie C saying, "Hey fam, we want to
Hey,
thank you,
fam.
Sweetie C, for being here." But essentially, what do we have coming up for our next week? We have um
We
a
have brother Babu Amawali from the Huey P. Newton Gun Club, because we're getting ready for that all ladies all pistol competition on April the 17th, which is Easter Sunday. So the ladies are getting geared up and ready for that. If you don't participate, come out. There's still room to participate, or you can come out and just observe and watch the ladies do their thing. I think it's going to be really fun. Um, Interesting to see just all ladies and see the progress of some of the ladies who have been in some previous competitions, even myself. We got some top-notch runners who compete regularly, so she's gonna definitely be a challenge for the rest of us and set the bar pretty high. So this should be fun. And then coming up later this summer in June, we have the Shot Expo at the Frisco Gun Club, our tribe's second annual Shot Expo. It's going to be bigger and badder and deeper than it was last year. We're really looking forward to it. We got a lot of good things going on with it this year. And so right now, those are the two major things that we have coming up. Um, so yeah, the Texas Tea Tactical Competition. There will be trophies. They're beautiful. And we're going to start early in the morning. We won't be out there all day to get that whooping, and just have a good time. It's going to be at ETTS out in Waxahachie. And like I said, even if you want to just observe, you will still have to pay to get in, because they don't know whether or not if you're shooting or not. But after the competition is over, if you just come and observe, you will be able to just stay after and have some range time.
Okay. Well, we hope to see everyone there. I certainly plan to be there. And we are glad that you're here with us tonight. So we will keep you abreast of all there is to know. And we will have something new, hopefully next week as well. Or periodically, we'll have our segment where we introduce a video, real life video, and ask you, what would you do in that case?
Mhm.
So, Phyllis, thanks for your input on everything. And we will see you as well on the next episode of Second Amendment Sis.
Have a good evening, y'all.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.